So I was just meeting with a client, actually a client who we met off this YouTube channel, having a coffee across the road at a really great local White Rock cafe called Being Around the World. But they asked me a really interesting question and one that I didn't necessarily know the answer to. So they're in town and they're looking to find a home for their family and they're looking to spend roughly $1 million. But here was the question. Darren, can you still find a detached home in the city of White Rock for under $1 million? Now, this is not something I have looked for in ages, and whether it even exists or not, well, I wasn't quite sure. What I figured for today's video is we jump in the car and we go take a look. Let's drive around the city of White Rock and see what types of listings we can find, detached homes under $1 million. Are they even worth your time to go take a peek at? So if that sounds good, jump in the car with me. Let's take a look. Just in case you're wondering who I am, my name's Darren from the German Group, a realtor who services the Surrey, South Surrey, White Rock, and surrounding municipalities. You're on our YouTube channel, which is all about living in White Rock, South Surrey, or Surrey. So if you want to stay up to date on all the information we're releasing on a regular basis and be the first to know about anything going on in these excellent communities, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so you're notified right away. Look, if you're someone who's considering relocating to any of these areas in the next 9 days, 90 days, or 9 months, be sure to let us know, reach out to make sure that you know everything you need to know about the area, and we'll be there to help make sure your move is a smooth one.
So our first home brings us to Victoria Avenue in White Rock. We are just blocks from the beach, which means anybody that lives in this area can run down to all the local shops and restaurants and go enjoy themselves. And one of the best parts about this area is all of the homes on the street have absolutely incredible views. Now, you can see behind me here, there's construction going on all over. And really, because White Rock was an old beach community, lots of cottage style, little tiny houses. And in fact, that's the first on our list that I'm going to show you right now. It's a little tiny beach house from 1945. Now, the lot is only about 1,500 square feet. It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, just over 800 square feet, and just in a really beautiful area, only because you get this incredible view. Now, the streets here, they're a little bit hilly, so they can be a little difficult to walk on sometimes, depending on if you've got any mobility issues or depending on your age. But you're not going to do any better in terms of location, especially with an incredible view like this one. So if you're wondering how much this home is worth, well, they're asking $959,000 for it. Now, it needs some work inside. It's not going to be perfect. It's not a huge house inside, but this gets you into the White Rock market, and what an incredible holding property to maybe one day renovate or build up into your dream house. So that is number one on our list. Pretty nice property in terms of view, in terms of location, and maybe a great starter home from somebody out there. Let's go see if we can find another one. So for our second house, we find ourselves here on Kent Street, just really down the block from the last house that we went to. And this is another beach style house, another kind of famous White Rock cottage. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but I am on quite a steep downslope down the road. This area is a lot more elevated than the one that I just came from. It's quite steep here. But again, we've got another kind of beach style home that, probably needs a little bit of love, needs a little bit of renovation inside. It's about 860 square feet large, but this one's got about a 4,100 square foot lot. Now, it's only a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, so very similar to the one that we just saw. But the biggest difference with this one, well, the last one I showed you, it was under $1 million at about $960,000. This one behind me, well, they're asking almost $1.2 million. Now, again, the lot, it's 4,100 square feet. The last one was about 1,500 square feet. But you can see that maybe, the other one was maybe on a little bit nicer of a street area. You had a beautiful view from the last one. Whereas the ones on this street, because this street runs north-south, a lot of the homes, if they don't have quite a high elevation, or depending on if your neighbor has a really tall house and you have a tall house, you're probably not going to get that much of a view in the hillside of these particular areas. So there's a lot of streets like this in White Rock that run north-south, so therefore the properties are kind of structured east-west, and some have views, some don't. So if you can, and you're looking for a view, you want to try and get something that runs obviously north-south with the property, but we're just on a search to find something under $1 million. So far, we're only 1 for 2, but I got 2 more properties that I think you're going to probably love. Oh, hello. You may be wondering why we're not out looking at property number 3 right now. And this is where I'm going to confess something to you. Looking for a detached home in White Rock and even into South Surrey for under $1 million, it's pretty difficult. So I actually originally had 3 properties lined up for this video, but the first one that you saw was actually the only one that was under $1 million. So I set out to find the next 2 less expensive options that were available in the city of White Rock right now, and even was going to dip into Ocean Park. Now, Ocean Park, if you're unfamiliar with the area, is one of the best areas in all of South Surrey, if not the Fraser Valley, if not the Lower Mainland. I was lucky enough to grow up in this community when I was younger, and one of the reasons it's so great is because you've got all these little shops and coffee shops and restaurants and boutiques and even a grocery store that's so easy to access. You can just pop up and walk directly to all of these, and it's just a great community to call home, really small, kind of tight-knit community. Now, there was a home for sale in Ocean Park just down the road, less than half a block from all these amazing amenities. It was on a 5,000 square foot lot. It was about 1,200 square feet in size. It was a 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom, and it was built in the 70s. But here's the thing. When I pulled up, I was getting ready to film it for you and show you all about what was going on, but it just didn't feel right. I'll tell you why. Because the entire property was boarded up. There was a fence around the entire property. And the reason for this was there was a fire in this home. This home had been gutted by a fire, needed to be completely torn down. The home was riddled with asbestos, and it was basically just a teardown. You were just basically buying a lot. Now, there couldn't be any more of a better area to call home than Ocean Park. And this would have been an amazing piece of property to own. However, this isn't a house that you would be able to move into. And the thing about it as well is, well, the asking price, it was still well over $1 million, well over $1 million. In fact, yeah, exactly. So what I want to do is I don't want to leave you hanging in this video. If you're someone that's looking to move to White Rock or South Surrey, I want to make sure I leave you with some of the great places that you could buy. The first home was really neat. It might make a really good purchase for somebody that doesn't need a lot of space and, is able to clean it up a little bit. And the view, that view, holy smokes, right? But let's check out one more property. And one thing I'm going to promise you is that it is 100% going to be below $1 million. If you're someone that has a family and is looking to relocate to the area, it is going to work for your needs because of the size of it. And I think you're really going to like it. So let's jump back out in the car once I finish my snack here, and I'm going to show you one more property. So let's go and hit the road together. Even if detached homes are a little more difficult, obviously, to find, well, I wanted to show you something that you could afford. And what I tried to find was the absolute best property in both White Rock and South Surrey that would work for a budget of $1 million. So I find myself outside of a complex called Old School. Now, this was built by Dawson Sawyer back in 2018, so it's a relatively new townhome complex. And what I really love about this is it ain't small. The one that's for sale right now in here is just under $1 million, and it is about 1,800 square feet in size. It is a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom townhome, and it's only got a strata fee of $375 per month. So for the cool price of $1 million, you can find one of the biggest townhomes in all of South Surrey at this Old School complex. And one of the great things too, I love this neighborhood. Just behind me is Sunnyside Park, and it has got baseball diamonds. It's got an outdoor pool. There's tons of grass. There's a great playground that the kids love. Actually, in fact, there's 2 playgrounds. So not only do you get a big, newer townhome for the price, but you also get to live in an incredible neighborhood. That's what $1 million will get you out this way. I hope you enjoyed this tour in our quest to try and find something in White Rock for under $1 million. Hey, I want to thank you for checking out this video, and I would love for you to comment below and let me know if you would consider any of the homes that I brought up in today's tour for under $1 million. I guess only one of them was, other than the townhouse. But what did you think? You know, do you think you get good value for your money in White Rock? Do you think you could see yourself calling this community home? And if you're someone that's watching this that does live in the community, if you see another home out there for under $1 million, especially a detached one, please send it to me. I would love to see it, and we can help our client find something for themselves that's awesome and under that $1 million price point. So, hey, anyways, I don't want to leave without asking you to please consider subscribing to the channel, especially consider checking out our Living in White Rock playlist. Also, don't hesitate to give us a call if you are considering moving to the area. We would love to help make your move to White Rock, South Surrey, or Surrey a smooth one. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next video. Cheers.